you thinking about moving overseas and you're curious about how exchanging money in other countries works, how to exchange it, where to exchange it, how it can benefit you? Well, today we're going to give you inside information on how exchanging money overseas works after living in 2 different countries for 6 years. In one of our previous videos, living in Buenos Aires, I'll link it below in the comments, we had a question about the informal blue market here in Argentina and how we deal with that being expats living here. So we thought this would be a great opportunity to explain how, when living overseas in different countries, there can be an informal or black market exchange for your currency.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about our experiences in both Argentina and Angola.
So before we get going, I think we need to explain a little bit about what the different rates mean. So what is the official exchange rate? This is probably what you're actually already familiar with. So when you go on vacation and you need to exchange money to use in that new country, you will typically go to a bank or a currency exchange booth located in the airport, and they will give you the local currency in exchange for your dollars. They will use the official exchange rate, and this is actually published online every day too, so you can go online and just look it up if you want to.
And so what do we mean by the street market or the black market exchange? This is typically not the exchange you're going to get when you go on vacation. So this is an exchange rate that's not typically recognized by the government or usually found in legitimate exchange places. This means you're finding someone on the street to exchange with or locally looking for a connection to exchange privately.
Don't worry, we'll explain in further detail. Let's talk about Argentina first.
So starting with Argentina, when we arrived here in early 2018, the official exchange rate and the street market exchange rate for the peso were basically the same. So that means that it didn't matter whether we exchanged in the bank or in the black market, we were getting about the same value. But since that time, in the last 2 years, the difference between the official rate and the black market rate, which they locally call here the blue market, has been dramatically increasing.
So here are some numbers. $1 was worth 19 pesos officially and on the street market in early 2018. And today, $1 is worth 74 pesos on the official exchange market, or worth 130 pesos on the blue market or the unofficial street rate. And before we go any further, I know we're using a lot of terms interchangeably. I just want to say that the black market and the street rate market are the exact same things. And then to make things a little more complicated for you, sorry, but here in Argentina, it's called the blue market. So whenever we say black market, street market, or blue market exchange rate, they're the exact same. Editing Melissa here, wanted to show you how they watch the dollar rates really closely on the news.
And there are several reasons why these values have increased so much over the last few years, including inflation, a recession, and some government policies.
Yeah, let's get into a little bit the actual logistics and how to exchange here in Buenos Aires. So here in Argentina, they accept all US dollar bills. So if you have a 20, a 50, 100, they will exchange them all. So if you want to exchange your US dollars on the street market, there are 2 different ways to get that done. The first is there is a street called Florida here in Buenos Aires in the microcenter area. And they have a lot of individuals that will literally take your cash and give you cash pesos back. And they will be giving you the street value. But you want to be careful because you don't know these people very well, and there have been stories about getting counterfeit bills, so just be careful.
And another option, which is typically safer, look for someone who's in the market for buying dollars privately. This can be done electronically and transferred between bank accounts, and this is typically done with either a friend or coworker or someone in the market for dollars.
So what does this mean for you if you're thinking about moving here to Argentina? Basically, it all boils down to if you're able to exchange your US dollars for pesos at the street rate, you're gonna get about a 50% discount on your purchases. But remember, if you're using your American credit card while you're here, You will not be getting that 50% discount. You'll be getting the official exchange rate. So let's do a real world example.
So let's say you want to go out and get a nice steak dinner, and that will typically cost you 1,100 pesos. At the official exchange rate, and let's say you're using one of your credit cards, the steak would cost you around $14.86 using the official exchange rate. But if you exchange your US dollars for street market pesos with a friend, that steak would now cost you $8.46.
So you can definitely see the financial benefit to those who have access to US dollars. So now let's talk about the second country we lived in, Angola, and how the street market worked there.
So while we were living in Angola, we had a similar situation. It was illegal to exchange money on the streets, but everyone did it because basically you received 3 times the value on the street versus the official market.
And Angola was a cash society, so that meant we had to exchange money to get the local currency, which was Kwanza. And we weren't able to use credit cards at all there.
And there was even a sign for it for the women who exchanged money on the street. They would make this signal, letting you know they were open for business.
And they would only accept new, crisp, big head $100 bills. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck is big head?
And so just a little story on that. When we first moved to Angola, we did try and exchange a $100 bill that was one of the older versions, where Benjamin Franklin was a smaller picture of his head. In Angola, they didn't want to accept these because they felt they might have been counterfeit. And so what you had to make sure, any kind of money you brought over had the big head of Benjamin Franklin, otherwise they wouldn't accept it.
When we were first told big head from an Angolan woman, we had no clue what she was talking about. We were completely lost. But then we asked some expats that had been there for a while what the heck she was talking about, and they explained it to us, and then it made more sense. All right, so let's show you some numbers. So $1 US was about 100 Kwanza on the official rate, or $1 US was about 350 Kwanza on the unofficial street rate. And these rates are from our time when we were there from 2014 to 2017, so they probably have definitely changed by now. So let's hit them with a real life example from our time living there.
Yeah, so for example, a flight to Cape Town from Luanda was roughly $1,000. And if you paid with your US credit card, you would be paying that official rate, you'd be paying the $1,000. But if you exchanged on the street and paid in cash, that same flight would cost you $285.
So you can definitely see once again how if you had access to US dollars and you exchanged them on the street for street value, it was definitely very financially beneficial. But definitely drop us a question below in the comments and we'd be happy to answer your questions or maybe even do another video. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Be sure to give us a like below if you learned something new about money in foreign countries. And also be sure to subscribe to our channel because we'll be hitting you again next Friday with some more living overseas content. All right, bye guys.
Hi.